Okay, I want to say, first and foremost, we want to welcome somebody to the show that has done so much for the world of professional wrestling. He comes from a wrestling family background. His dad was a part of the first main event of WrestleMania. I like to say he was one of the original cool bad guys because he wore a cast all the time, and his dad also wore a cowboy hat. So that's amazing to wear a cowboy hat, have a cast, and be a bad guy, and be a part of the first main event of WrestleMania. And his son goes on to become not just a certified Hall of Famer, but I believe, and we're trying to debate it right now, he could possibly become a 14-time world champion in his hometown on Sunday, Scott Trade Center, Money in the Bank. Please welcome the one and only Randy Orton.
Hey, guys. Hey. Thanks for having me, man. Yeah, you're exactly right. Number 14's coming this Sunday.
Number 14's coming.
Got to do it in my hometown.
Got to do it. Now, first, I want to say congratulations. I know you got married. You've had the birth of a new child.
Another little baby.
Cool.
Yeah. She's 7 months. Brooklyn Rose is her name.
Brooklyn Rose. Oh, congrats. So congrats. So that's right. You just recently are coming off of winning the WWE World title at WrestleMania, defeating Bray Wyatt.
That's right.
In a very unusual match at WrestleMania.
To say the least. Won the Royal Rumble in January, went on to win the championship at Mania against Bray Wyatt, and it was different. There was a lot going on that day, and I guess the theme of our match was bugs.
Yeah. How did you, when you watched it back, what did you think of the ring and all that? What did you, I just want to get your thoughts.
It just was so off the wall. Just to be honest, between you and me, of course. No, I wasn't a fan of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now the follow-up match. This is after the shake-up,
right.
And Bray goes to Raw. You stay on SmackDown. You have the House of Hardcore match.
Another different type of scenario, but you're working with Bray Wyatt as an opponent, so. As you know, he's a little different himself, and so I think Vince, the company, was trying to cater to the whole Bray Wyatt mystique, and so the House of Horrors was something they were planning on doing.
Okay.
When me and Bray started mixing it up like last October, but then I became a part of the Wyatt family and so forth, and then the big blow-off was this House of Horrors match, and Vince filmed it like a little 10-minute horror movie. It was fun to do, and it was different, and people either loved it or hated it. I'm kind of right down the middle. Again, you know, it just wasn't the same old thing. Which was cool, but it was almost too different.
Two different, I mean? Yeah. Well, I think watching it. Well, I'm watching it on the WWE Network. I think if I was in the arena, I would probably have a different perspective. Right. Watching it on the WWE Network, it looked great because I'm able to really hear it and see it and feel it. But if I was sitting in an arena at that time,
empty arena, watching the Tron, it's different. And
different feel.
And then we ended up in the arena, but when we filmed the House of Horrors, it was nighttime, and then our match aired. We were in California, so you're on the Pacific time. Mm-hmm. So when we came to the arena, it's light outside. Right. So like that continuity issue right there.
Gotcha.
You know, a lot of people had it, but you know, creative liberties left and right with the House of Horrors.
Understand. If you are in the WWE universe, you understand some of the things we're talking about, and we forgive a lot because we spend a lot of things.
Thank God.
Okay, so Jinder Mahal, very interesting guy. Most would say coming out of the mid-card. Mm-hmm. He was released. He came back.
That's right.
I think at WrestleMania, he lost in the main event of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal that was run by Mojo.
Yep.
Then, out of nowhere, number one contender, WWE Championship, wins the title.
Right.
Now, this is the big rematch. Mm-hmm. How did you feel when you heard, I'm going to be going up against Jinder Mahal for the strap?
Mixed feelings. In the business I'm in, you got to always think about how you've heard this. It comes full circle, and like you said, he was a mid-card guy. Got terminated, came back, but you could tell he had a little fire under his ass, like he was motivated, and we could all see that, and Vince could see that, and it's all about opportunities. So he was given an opportunity, and he beat me for my 13th.
Had a little help from the Singh brothers.
He did have a
had
little
help. Wasn't all clean now.
You know, I can't make excuses. He hit me with his finish, 1, 2, 3. That was it.
Got it.
But in my hometown now, I get a chance to reclaim what is mine.
Exactly.
And I plan on doing it.
Now,
I'm going to have
Randy?
my family there sitting in the front row. My father's going to be there. They're going to have a lot of wrestling legends there. It's going to be an interesting atmosphere.
Yes, I was gonna ask that too. Now everybody knows I'm not the biggest WWE
Stop.
person
She
or
does-
sports
no.
person, but it's all good.
She doesn't know Michael Jordan played basketball.
Oh my
So
God.
let's just make sure Randy
No.
understands who he's talking to here.
Anyway, I do know Michael Jordan played basketball.
She's too young to know who Michael Jordan is.
I know who
Everybody-
Michael Jordan is. No, he act. I'm not gonna
Okay,
get.
all right,
I'm not gonna
go
go
ahead.
down
Ask
that
the
road.
question
But
to
I was
the
gonna
champ.
ask when
She
you.
thinks he makes shoes or something, right?
Y'all not gonna clap me today. But I was gonna ask, when you're in your hometown, is your adrenaline like just like out the roof compared to other places? Like, how do you feel when you like come out?
That's always the same because our fans are so like into it and emotional. And when your music hits and you walk through the curtain and you're on
Right.
live TV, and like at Mania, I think there might have been 70 or 80,000 people there. So they're seeing all that, you're feeling all that. It doesn't matter where you're at. That
Right.
feeling's the same. But having my wife, my children sit
Exactly.
in front row, my father, my mother is going to be there. I'm
E-
37. I got
exactly.
my mom and dad coming to watch me work. Like it's a little.
And sometimes when you're in
different.
front of your family, you want
Yeah.
to show out, but you got to keep like
Yeah,
focus.
yeah.
It's
Well,
like I
wanna-
can't do too much.
I want to blow the wife a kiss and go over and give Brooklyn, the 7-month-old
Right.
baby, a little kiss, but then what does that do for my character? I can't be doing that.
Exactly. You can't be looking like that.
Yeah, maybe when the cameras come off, I'll sneak her a little kiss.
Oh.
I try to do that. That goes a long way.
But this is not the
Right.
first time you have faced major competition or faced a. Now this is not. I'm gonna be wrong. I'm gonna make sure I'm right. It's not the first time you either defended or went for the belt at the Scott Trade. Is this?
Gosh,
You've had so many runs. I believe you have walked
I'm
into
gonna
the Scott
say-
Trade with
I'm
the
gonna
strap
say-
on.
I'm going to say I've been champion in St. Louis
Yes.
before. Yeah.
Okay.
To perform in St. Louis.
Yes.
Yeah, most definitely.
Are you feeling the pressure to say, okay, if I lose to this guy for the second time, and he's ascending out of the mid-card world. Yes, opportunities and everything, and he's taking advantage of that.
Sure.
Are you saying to yourself, I'm not supposed to lose to this guy? This is not the guy I'm supposed to lose to on Sunday.
Right. Well, you look at it like Roman Reigns wasn't the guy that was supposed to beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania, of course.
I wasn't going there, but you.
Yeah, you know what I
I'll
mean?
chill.
Like you got Brock Lesnar and Samoa Joe fighting on the Raw side at the upcoming, I believe the name of the pay-per-view is
Great Balls of Fire.
Great Balls of Fire.
Jerry
Yeah.
Lee Lewis.
You know,
Very interesting. Anyway, so like what's going to happen there? Because you got Lesnar who just decimates everybody, but he never comes around. So,
And you know that because you fought Lester.
I did, and I don't really want to talk about that right
Okay.
now. But yeah, I don't remember much of that one.
Okay.
But it's just Jinder's going to be around. He's young. He's only like 30 years old, 31 maybe.
Got
So
it.
you got young talent. No matter what the outcome is, I'll be there the next night. I believe we're in Indianapolis, and then the night after that, somewhere in Ohio. And we just keep going, and every night's a new night. And the fans usually remember the last thing they saw. So as long as every night I'm trying my best to put on the best performance I can, it doesn't really matter to me the outcome. But
Right.
being in my hometown, I want to steal the show. And there would be nothing better than walking out with that title around my
will.
waist.
Now, here's the thing. When you win the belt for a
Right.
record 14th time,
Yes,
Sunday at the Scott Trade Center, Money in the Bank is going to not only determine a possible number one contender,
Right.
but somebody out of that match is going to have a guaranteed title opportunity.
got that
Now,
right.
you got some major players because SmackDown Live has stepped up
Yes.
with Shinsuke,
Yep.
Kevin Owens,
Yep.
AJ Styles
Big
in the
fan of
match.
AJ Styles, yeah.
Also, Baron Corbin, Sami Zayn.
Right?
Any one of these guys can win. Are you already in the back of your mind said, look, I'm not pushing the horse before the cart.
Sure.
I'm gonna beat Jinder, gonna get the strap back. But who would you be like? Let's just say in Randy Orton's mind, who would you want to see win Money in the Bank? Because you say I really want to face that guy.
So all those guys in the
Down
Money
the
in
line
Bank match that
for
you
the
just-
belt.
Right. All those guys you just named that are in that Money in the Bank match, I think I'd be more than capable of having a really good match with any of those guys. If I had to pick, it'd be AJ Styles. He's probably the one guy that I really want to work with the most. We've got to touch a few times, and it was just sometimes you have chemistry with a guy, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
You've been a fan for a long time. Sometimes there's just that chemistry, like Rock and Austin just had that chemistry, larger than life characters. People just wanted to see them go at it against each other. And I believe me and AJ, it's a similar feel. And our timing's there, and he did such a good job of coming up in the Indies. He went to the other companies, and he did well. Been all over the world, made a name for himself. Went to Japan, got picked up by us, and he's someone that made a name for himself without WWE backing him, which is hard to do in this business. And now we got him, and I think he's close to being like the Shawn Michaels of this generation.
That's big high praise.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
I think that would, as Jim Ross would say, I think that would put asses in the seats.
Yeah,
Randy Orton
I think
versus
so
AJ.
too. I think so too.
What about Shinsuke Nakamura? I have to tell you, I love his theme song. I became a fan of him through NXT. I didn't know much about his Japan work,
right?
But I definitely am a fan of him.
Huge name in Japan. Again, we got to snag him. Someone else that made a name for himself other places than WWE, and now he's there. I've never worked with him. I've got to see him perform a few times. I think we were in a tag match on the same team recently. But yeah, very different, unorthodox style. But everything he does means something. And the whole King of the Strong style thing that he goes by, like you can tell those kicks, he puts a little extra oomph behind them. You know what I mean? Another guy I'm looking forward to work with, but I feel like none of those guys could touch AJ.
None of them would touch AJ.
Yeah.
So once you get past Jinder Mahal, get the strap back on Sunday. Really, sky's the limit because SmackDown Live roster is really kind of open up, I think, a little bit, especially after the shakeup.
Most definitely.
You know, but there's one guy on Raw that I would really love to see you face.
Who's that?
Finn Balor.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I would love
For
to
sure.
But
another great talent.
The demon Finn Balor.
Yeah. Oh.
And the psychic, I kick you in the head, Randy Orton.
Yeah.
That guy.
I need a babyface Finn Balor and a heel Randy Orton. And
Yeah.
that'll work.
Yeah.
That'll work. I need to be a bad guy, man.
I think you kind of always are a tweener.
I try to walk the line.
Are you a tweener? I think you're a tweener.
I'm a tweener. I try to walk the line, and sometimes the boss wants you to smile a little more or kiss babies and shake hands a little more than you want. But, in the end, it's his company.
I've never looked at you as a face.
I appreciate that.
Because I always thought you are who you are, which is very cool, a little cocky, a little arrogant,
Sure.
and I think that works for you.
Yeah.
Coming out of Evolution, I was like, that works.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people have always gravitated towards. And I think when the situation makes sense, the switch happens, but people always feel like that storyline made sense for Andy not to be as menacing,
right,
as conniving as possible.
I try to leave it to where at any given time you never know what you're going to get. Like a switch can be flipped, and then you just kind of lose it. Hence the whole voices in my head entrance song, like kind of going off that.
Got it.
Like, I'm a little messed up in the head. That's at least what I'm trying to
Convey?
convey, exactly.
Now you did start a little Instagram, Twitter beef.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now,
Why not?
now did you mean to do that?
It's fun to sit
Did you
back
mean
and-
to do that with the
No.
dive
of
comments
of course not. So, like,
Can you explain it just for everybody listening? The dive
sure.
comments.
I haven't done that yet. Like I work, like I'm putting over AJ Strong, right? AJ, he does dives. A lot of guys that I work with do dives. I've been dived on a lot. I don't have a problem with dives out of the ring, but when a lot of these guys who don't have anything to fall back on, and they're not making any money doing it, and they're going around town wrestling these independent shows, which is awesome, by the way. A lot of our guys like AJ, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins wouldn't be here without the indie scene, but they're smart. A lot of these guys go out there and they're going to break their neck at 23 years old doing stuff they shouldn't be doing.
Too many stunts out of the ring. So just so everybody understand, dives is something that where you see a lot of, especially for Miss Pooh, you see a lot of wrestlers, they do stuff off the top rope. They go through the ropes.
It's a display of athleticism, no doubt, but it's just, I'm not going to watch gymnastics.
Right,
I want to
get
go
what you're
watch
saying.
a story, a fight between a good guy and a bad guy. How many flips they do each. Like, I'm not keeping a tally. Like, oh,
Got
wow,
it.
he just did a backflip.
But a lot of people came at you about that, though. They felt you was taking shots at Ring of Honor, New Japan.
But you know who had my back on it?
Who had your
Guys
back?
like AJ. Guys that do dives and know what they're doing.
Right.
Guys like Goldust, guys like Triple H, Vince McMahon. Kurt Angle texted me after I said that. Kurt didn't do dives. You know what I mean?
Got it.
And if he did, he would put it where it should have went. He would have built up to a spot in the match where that dive was called for. He wouldn't have just done it to do it. And there's no longevity in throwing your body to the floor and just hoping that you're caught and you don't land on your head.
It's a little bit of a safety, and I think I get it.
Yeah.
But did you feel like it's the old school guy in me,
Sure.
versus the new school millennial,
Right?
The culture, because
So
that's
The
the word everybody
culture,
throws out today.
If
Way of doing things.
If that's the way, where our business is going, to where it's just a preconceived, choreographed match with a bunch of acrobatics, backflips, front flips, gainers off the top rope, shooting star presses, moonsaults to the floor, then I don't want to be a part of it.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, I don't think that's where it's going, because that's not anything. In the WWE, we got enough storytellers and producers and guys like Arn Anderson, Pat Patterson, Mike Rotunda, Dean Malenko that are there to help us tell a story. And if we have any questions, we go to them. And none of those guys are saying, oh, why don't you just dive to the floor, suicide dive to the floor and hope you get caught and maybe it'll work, maybe it won't.
No, I completely get it. I've been watching wrestling for a long time,
no.
so I understand that you still have to get the fan engaged because you want them to stick around, because it shouldn't be one and done, and you also want people to believe at some point you want people to be invested into what's going on, the psychology of it all.
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys move around real quick. You don't get to see their facial expression. It just don't stop. And at the end of the match, when each guy's taken 40 bumps and there's been 10 dives, you can't go back and remember at any point in the match where it specifically there was a turning point where the story took a turn for the worse for the bad guy or for the good guy to come out on top. Like it becomes less of a story and more of like, ooh, who can jump the farthest side of the ring and not get hurt.
All right, I want to ask you some questions about some other sports.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you are invested in sports.
Ooh, not so much.
Well, there's a big
calling
fight
me out.
coming up outside
I know what you're
of Brock
Because that was
and Joe and you and Jinder. There's another fight. Well, I'm going to call it what it is. It's the bum fight. It's not a real fight. It's a troll move. I'm not mad at it. But what are your thoughts on Conor Mayweather?
So, I've met Floyd several times. He's worked with us, fought the Big Show at WrestleMania 24, I think. I've seen his talent up close. I've seen him throw 10 punches in a matter of a tenth of a second and break Big Show's nose. Mayweather's gonna smoke Conor.
I don't think Conor is going to land a punch.
Conor don't know. So Conor's doing it for the publicity and the $100 million he's going to make, or whatever it's going to end up being. But I'll tell you what, Floyd's going to make way more than Conor.
Would you do that?
Floyd's been in the game a lot longer than Conor. Like, Floyd knows what he's doing. He's smart. He's a businessman. And you're exactly right. Everyone's going to watch. And I see Floyd toying with Conor for a few rounds and then knocking his ass out. That's what I see.
But would you ever say to yourself, for the money, 100 million, 150 on the table,
you gonna do that?
either get in the octagon ring or get in a boxing ring?
Oh, wait a minute.
150, guaranteed.
Give me $10 million and I'll go get my ass kicked. $10 million is a lot of money.
Did you watch CM Punk's debut?
I did. Oh, I thought it was great.
Because he manned up and said, I'm going to do it?
I'm a little sarcasm there. Me and Punk never got along.
Okay.
We bumped heads a few times. I had a lot of respect for him as a performer, and I think that it took balls to do the UFC thing. For the sake of the wrestling business, I wish he wouldn't have got beat in 10 seconds or whatever. What was it? A minute?
It was quick. It was quick.
I don't think. I feel like, and I don't know anything about mixed martial arts. I wrestled a little bit in high school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm an entertainer. But I when that bell rang and he came at the guy with his hands up, I thought, oh shit, does he know what he's doing? And he looked emaciated. He looked like he was 160 pounds, 170 pounds. He's like a 220-pound guy. Like he just looked like he was tired and weak. And I felt bad for him, to be honest with you.
Because it was real at that point.
It was real. And I feel like when he was walking to the ring and his music was playing, you could see in his face that he was like, yeah, and the crowd and and then he got in that octagon and the gate closed and he realized, oh, this is real.
Yeah.
I honest swear to God, the look on his face went from cocky and yeah, you know who it is, CM Punk, and then boom, all of a sudden he was like, gulp. And then
it happened.
Yeah.
It happened.
Yeah, I was right because then it was over. So I thought it was very smart. We're talking about Floyd being a great businessman. Yeah. What did Punk do after he got his ass whooped? He went over, he hugged that kid, and just gave him that veteran advice into his ear. He baby-faced the hell out of that crowd. So who knows if he had that planned.
But it was also a big payday for him. He made a lot of money for that walk.
And the kid he fought that smoked him didn't make anything. And it just goes to it's entertainment.
Yeah. So but there's a door though, Randy. There's a new door opening up. That means that when you decide to hang up the wrestling boots, you're going to the Hall of Fame. You can already start writing your Hall of Fame speech now. You can tweak it as the years go on. You can already have a draft done. You're done. You got the yellow jacket. You may say, I may go get that 10-15. I may go make that move.
Nah. I've been saving my money. 17 years of doing this. Like I know it ain't gonna last forever.
Right.
So you cool when it's done. You're done.
Yeah. Like movies are fun. I got a project in Thailand next month. I don't think I can say too much about it, but just a little deal. But it'll be fun. It's an independent thing, and I like doing little things like that. But to do anything full time or to begin training for something as a 37-year-old man that I've never done before. Even Lesnar couldn't walk into the NFL and toss people around. He got smoked because he didn't grow up on a football field.
Got it. So you say you could. Yeah, I got you. You're not looking for glory in other places. You feel like I did my thing.
Yeah.
My legacy is secure. Totally. I'm a Hall of Famer.
100%, 110%. And little outside projects are fun, but unless it's $100 million, I ain't gonna step into a ring and get my ass
whooped. Right into the ring.
10 million.
Did you watch any of the NBA finals? I know you guys travel a lot. Do you guys keep up with that stuff?
I was in Central America. A lot of the guys do keep up. I've never been a big sports guy.
That is so funny.
I'll rep the Cardinals. I'll go back and last time I saw you, I think the day after.
Yeah, you went throughout the first pitch.
I was going to throw out the first pitch. That's a whole different story. They put the kibosh on that. But I got to take my boys down to the field. They met the players. Was it Matt Holliday? Matt Holliday threw pitches to my two oldest sons, and they had a blast. They're huge baseball fans, and they're from New York.
How do you feel when athletes geek out over you? Ask for your autograph.
It's cool. It's a little funny because sometimes you think, I wouldn't think that athletes, entertainers, like,
hip hop artists, rock artists. How do you anybody in your rock or your favorite music that you love came up to you like, yo, I need your autograph, B?
I think the coolest thing would be if Lil Wayne came up. I know he's a wrestling fan, and Rey Mysterio has went to his concerts, met him backstage, and I just never got the opportunity. But I think it'd be cool to meet him. But I met T.I. in Atlanta maybe a year ago, and I'm like, oh shit, it's T.I. And then next thing you know, he's like, hey man, let me get a picture of me and I'm like, oh,
cool.
Really? Can I get a picture? Or like Snoop, huge wrestling fan, does stuff with WWE all the time. Nicest guy in the world. But yeah, Shaq too. Like a lot of these larger than life dudes, they become little kids when they're backstage around us. Right. And it's funny to see, but it just goes to show how big and influential WWE is.
I mean, it's very hard for people not to know a WWE superstar. Please give it up for Randy Orton, going for his 14th WWE World Championship Sunday. Money in the Bank Scott Trade. I need you to win because I would love to see you and AJ for the strap.
I'm going to do it for you, man.
Thank you.
I'm going to do it for you.
Appreciate it.